Welcome. Today we will discuss ambiguity and the formalization of natural language. In order to analyze this topic, we have distinguished several questions. The first question is about lexical ambiguity. Question 2, it's about scope ambiguity. And the last but not least question is about syntactic ambiguity. Okay, let's start with the first question. Lexical ambiguity. How can we clarify this topic? Natural language is highly ambiguous. What does it mean? It means that if one sentence could mean different things, we can say that this sentence carries some ambiguous elements. One source of ambiguity is lexical, and for this reason we have distinguished lexical ambiguity as one form of these ambiguous elements. From the perspective of logic, lexical ambiguity occurs when a single word or phrase has two or more distinct meanings. By the way, we can name lexical ambiguity as the semantic ambiguity. Both terms can be used in propositional logic. Unlike syntactic ambiguity, where the sentence structure is ambiguous, lexical ambiguity arises from the vocabulary itself. We can analyze this type of ambiguity on the basis of several examples, and we have distinguished 3 examples. Example 1, the bank is secure. It's our proposition, but we have used here ambiguous word, and our ambiguous word is bank. For this reason, we can have 2 different propositions. Proposition 1, the financial institution is secure. Here, the concept of bank refers to the financial institution. And we can say that financial institution is secure. It's our proposition 1. And the second interpretation can be related to the river bank. And for this reason, we can also interpret this proposition as follows. The river bank is secure. Although the sentence has one grammatical form, it expresses 2 different propositions. And our example 2, the bat is broken. In this example, the ambiguous word is bat, and for this reason, we can distinguish 2 possible propositions here. Proposition 1, the baseball bat is broken, but the word bat can also refer to the flying mammal, and for this reason, we can distinguish proposition 2, and we can say the flying mammal is injured or has a broken wing. Another example, the light object fell, and in this example, we can have 2 possible meanings. And proposition 1, according to the first meaning, the object that emits light fell. And proposition 2, our second interpretation, the object that is not heavy fell. We can apply this lexical ambiguity to the philosophy too, and for this reason we can use several examples relevant to philosophy. Example 1, reason guides action. In this example, we have used reason as ambiguous word, and our first interpretation here, reason can refer to the rational faculty, and the interpretation 2 In this interpretation, we can say that reason is associated with the justification. And according to the first interpretation, we can say rational faculty guides action, but in the second interpretation, we should say that justification guides action. And our example 2, the mind represents a reality. Here represents is our ambiguous word. And interpretation 1 represents can be used as depicts. We can say that the mind depicts a reality, but another interpretation can be stands for. And according to this interpretation, we can say that the mind stands for reality. Our example 3, substance is fundamental. And our ambiguous word, it is substance, and it can have two interpretation. Interpretation 1, substance can refer to material stuff, and interpretation 2, it can be related to the metaphysical substance. And according to the interpretation 1, we can say that material stuff is fundamental, and according to another interpretation, we can say that metaphysical substance is fundamental. Okay, let's summarize our idea about the lexical ambiguity. What can we say as a logical observation from the perspectives of logic? In propositional logic, lexical ambiguity is generally eliminated before symbolization. Each distinct meaning corresponds to a different atomic proposition. For example, we can say Eva is at the financial bank. We can also say Eva is at the river bank. But in both of these examples, the word bank can be used as ambiguous word. For example, if I only say Eva is at the bank, it is not clear what I mean here. It can be related to the financial bank. In this case, we should distinguish this proposition as a P proposition, but another interpretation, as we have already analyzed, can be related to the river bank, and in this case, we should interpret this proposition as the Q proposition. Okay, although the original English sentence appears to express one proposition, as I said before, Eva is at the bank, logical analysis reveals that it actually corresponds to different propositions, depending on the intended meaning. That it can be interpreted as a P proposition in our example, or Q proposition in our example. This is why propositional logic assumes that each atomic proposition has a single determinate meaning before formalization. We should be certain which meaning we use in our proposition. Eva is at the financial bank, or Eva is at the river bank. Okay, let's move to the analysis of the second type of ambiguity. It is scope ambiguity. As we have said before, one source of ambiguity is the issue of scope, where it is not clear how the parts of the sentence are meant to fit together. The language of propositional logic has no scope ambiguities at all. It is precisely and rigorously defined. So, one of the advantages of formalizing sentences in the language of propositional logic is that scope ambiguities can be identified and hopefully resolved. And we can use several examples in order to analyze this type of ambiguity. example 1, Eva quickly ate and went to work. And what do I mean here? There are two possible interpretations here. Interpretation 1, Eva ate quickly and then leisurely made her way to work. And interpretation 2, Eva both ate and went to work quickly. And this type of scope ambiguity can be observed in the example 2. Eva can say that I'll have fish and chips or salad. And interpretation 1, Eva wants fish with either chips or salad on the side. In the symbolic way, we can say that F and C of S. F means that Eva wants fish. C refers to the proposition Eva wants chips. And S means that Eva wants salad. And we have used two logical operator here, and it can be expressed as a conjunction, and of it is operator of disjunction. But in any case, we can have our interpretation too. We can also say that Eva wants either fish and chips or instead salad. In this case, we should distinguish another kind of interpretation, because here we have got two options, either F and C of S. Okay, in this case, we should replace the positions of the parentheses in order to distinguish interpretation 1 from the interpretation 2. And our next example, I can say that the train are on strike today and I need to get to the other side of town by 9 a.m. unless I'm misremembering things. What do I mean here? Interpretation 1. Am I saying that the trains are on strike today and that either I have an appointment or I'm mistaken? In other words, I can say S and A of M. S means that the train are on strike today. A means that I need to get to the other side of town by 9 a.m. M means that I'm misremembering things. And in the first interpretation, I've used this kind of symbolic expression. But in the second type of interpretation, I can change the positions of my parentheses, as we can see in our slide. Okay, our last type of ambiguity, it is a syntactic ambiguity. It can be named also as a structural ambiguity. And first, we can define this concept to give a definition of this concept. What is syntactic ambiguity? Syntactic ambiguity occurs when a sentence can be assigned two or more different grammatical structures, each expressing a different proposition. The ambiguity arises from the arrangement of words rather than from the meanings of individual words. Okay, let's analyze this type of ambiguity on the examples. For example, I can take this proposition, I saw the man with the telescope. And what does it mean? It can mean that I used a telescope to see the man, interpretation 1. I can also mean that I saw the man who was carrying a telescope. It is interpretation 2. And the ambiguity results from the different ways of prepositional phrase with the telescope can be attached within the sentence. Okay, our main question is, can propositional logic solve syntactic ambiguity? How can I answer to this question? Propositional logic assumes that every declarative sentence expresses one determinate proposition. Therefore, before symbolizing a sentence, any syntactic ambiguity must first be resolved. For the example above, we would first distinguish the two meanings. I used a telescope to see the man. If I use this meaning, it can be named as a P proposition. If I use another type of meaning, I saw the man who had a telescope. In this case, I should change my variable. For example, I can use Q for this meaning, for the last meaning of my proposition. Only after disambiguation we can assign separate propositional variables, for example P and Q, and as a result we can say that syntactic ambiguity arises from multiple grammatical structures, and propositional logic cannot resolve syntactic ambiguity because it does not deal with the grammatical structure. It is not the purpose of propositional logic. And instead, the ambiguity must be removed before formalization. Only after this removal, we can translate this propositional from the natural language into the symbolic language of the propositional logic. Okay, that's all for